Hey guys, happy Friday. Welcome to Getting to the Facts. I'm your host, Andrew Curiel, and we're going to make this Friday episode a little bit spicy. We're going to get into a topic that definitely is going to get a little spicy when it comes to it. So I'm excited to go over it with you guys. And again, we're just trying to get to the facts. We're really just trying to leave our emotions at the door when it comes to these type of things that are really affecting millions and millions of people across the United States and the world when it comes to this subject. So I'm excited to go over it. Let's get into the facts, guys. So this first thing, what I really wanted to make sure that we went over here was the fact of transgender athletes competing against biological women. And it's not about them just competing. It's about them competing at the highest level and taking away trophies and taking away scholarship opportunities and just taking away professional opportunities as well, and Olympic opportunities for biological women in the women's division. It bothers me. I'm a former college basketball player. Didn't play at too high of a level, just Division 2, but a high enough level to where I completely understand the sacrifice that you take to become a collegiate athlete. Not even let alone one at the highest level, the NCAA Division 1 level. So this is very concerning. So I just wanted to go into this here. The first article, and it's really not an article, but a video that I was able to find is of Riley Gaines. Riley Gaines, guys, just so you have a little bit of a heads up on who she is. She's a former Penn State women's swimmer as well. She ended up finishing, they said tied for first, but I think she barely lost. But they gave the trophy to Leah Thomas, who is a transgender woman, biological male. And we're going to get into a little bit about why I think it's so crazy that they allowed that as well. But the main thing is this Riley Gaines girl, she is now an advocate for an outspoken advocate for women's sports, and trying to protect women's sports from this kind of it's, for lack of better words, guys, it's really an overtaking of what's going on. So I just wanted to go over this here, and really kind of show the craziness of what's going on. She's appearing in front of Congress. I think it's Congress or the Senate, if I'm not mistaken. And she's talking about her experiences swimming against Leah Thomas and why she feels it's wrong. And then this lady as well, Miss Robinson, if I'm not mistaken, is her name. She's talking on why she feels that transgender people should be able to compete in the women's division and so on. So let's take a listen, guys, and see really what both sides got to say when it comes to this.
Biological male has a physical advantage in sports over a biological female?
Not as a definitive statement.
Give me an example. Well, no, I don't think. How many female members of the NBA do you see?
Well, I can say that, there's been this news article about men that think that they could beat Serena Williams in tennis, right? That they think that they could actually score a point on her. And it's just not the case. She is stronger than that.
What's your experience, Ben? Male, female?
Both Serena and Venus lost to the 203rd ranked male tennis player, which they're phenoms for women. My experience, my husband, he swam at University of Kentucky as well. In terms of accolades and in terms of national ranking, I was a much better swimmer than him. He could kick my butt any day of the week without trying.
Okay. I just think, Ms. Robinson, I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. I think you lose a lot of credibility when you don't concede that a biological male has physical advantages over a biological female. I mean, I just think that's a proven fact, and you really hurt your credibility. I understand you want the world to be a better place. I do too, and I don't think people ought to be discriminated against because of an immutable characteristic. I don't. And I think that I think everybody ought to be free to be themselves. And what you do in your bedroom or what I do in my bedroom with a consenting adult is nobody's business. But if what I do in my bedroom with a consenting adult, if I decide I want to tell somebody's child about it, then other people have rights too. And I think parents have rights. And I think biological females have rights to be able to compete fairly in sport, in sports. So I really think you hurt your credibility when you refuse to acknowledge that biological males have an advantage over biological females. It kind of makes me wonder about all your testimony. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
All right, guys, that right there is the epitome of somebody that has not competed in sports at a high level. I'm just going to go out there. I don't know if she's played any type of college sports, but by the way she just answered that, she has no idea. She has absolutely no idea. And for her to go and say that men can't beat Serena Williams, if she's talking about just some random guy off the street that maybe played tennis once or twice with a couple guys, yeah, they probably can't get a point on Serena Williams. But when we're talking about men and women competing in the same sport where they both practice their ass off, when they both are competing at the highest of highest levels, as Riley Gaines just pointed out, the 203rd ranked male tennis player was able to beat, not just score a point, but beat Serena Williams and Venus Williams. And then even Riley Gaines even said even her own husband, who was a collegiate male swimmer, doesn't even have to try and would be able to beat her. And Riley Gaines has a lot of accolades when it comes to swimming as well, as you were able to hear in that video. So, guys, it's not about hating transgenders. It's not about being transphobic. It's not about any of that stuff, guys. That this is about fairness when it comes to sports. Okay. And I know we're not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but if we're not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, you're trying to protect the feelings of transgender people to be able to compete wherever they feel is best for them, without taking in consideration the feelings of these women that have worked their butts off, and they can only work up so hard for something that's not genetically gifted for male athletes, for biological male athletes. So guys, like, I have no hate towards any transgender person. You lose me in two things. You lose me when you're trying to say that you are the exact same as a biological woman, and therefore you should be able to compete against them in the women's division. And you also lose me when you try to go after kids, and we have certain books and different things in elementary and middle schools. And high school, I have a little bit of different opinion on, but elementary and middle school should not have any type of sexuality or anything to do with any of that, whether it be heterosexual stuff or homosexual stuff or whatever the case is. None of that should be available for kids in elementary or middle school. They're too young. We always should be looking out for the kids first and foremost. And this stuff really bothers me, guys, because it's just like the slippery slope of where we've gone. Okay. It used to just be the LGBT community wanted to make sure that they were protected, that they could get married, that they just were not discriminated based on their sexuality. And I'm completely on board with that. I feel like they should be able to get married if they want to. I feel like a gay couple or a lesbian couple that wanted to have a kid, as long as it's a couple that are together, I feel like they should be able to adopt as well. So like I said, I'm very nuanced when it comes to this stuff, but those two things, when it comes to competing against women when you're a biological male, as well as the whole stuff about pushing it on kids in elementary and middle school, those two things is where you lose me. But sticking with the sports, guys, Leah Thomas, just to give us a little bit more in-depth look on who Leah Thomas is. Leah Thomas is an American swimmer. In 2017, she began studying at the University of Pennsylvania, from which she graduated in May 2022. She competed on the university's men's swim team from 2017 to 2020. For 3 years, Leah Thomas, who was known as William, competed as a man in the men's division for 3 years before automatically just switching over to the women's swim team the very next year. Tell me, guys, tell me how that should be okay. Please. It's not about us saying you can't be who you are. You can be who you are. You just can't compete as a woman when you're not actually a woman. I'm really kind of shocked that this is even something that we have to debate, that we have to talk about right now. Because it's not about, it's honestly, if by allowing this, we're giving special treatment to transgender athletes. We're giving special treatment to biological men to compete against women, when the whole reason that we have women's sports is to have equality of opportunity for women to compete just like men do at a professional level and at a collegiate level. We should protect women when it comes to that. This is just so shocking to me that this is even a discussion. But to go down here to give a little more in depth on how Leah Thomas was in the men's division before going and just winning a national title under the women's division. Let's see here. Leah Thomas, the transgender swimmer from the University of Pennsylvania, became one of the top athletes in the NCAA female division last weekend. She reached the finals of 3 events in the NCAA championships. Moreover, she didn't compete in the 1650-yard freestyle, but had one of the USA's top times in the event. In fact, in the 500-yard freestyle, Thomas secured the fastest swim time in the nation. Guys. During last season in the NCAA, Leah Thomas competed in the men's division in 2018 and 2019, where she ranked 554th in the 200-yard freestyle, and she is now 5th in the event this year under the women's division. Furthermore, in the 500-yard freestyle, Thomas was 65th in the country. Now she ranked 1st in the event this year. Finally, in the 1650, she is now 8th in the nation as opposed to 32nd in the men's division. Guys, come on. This should not be allowed, especially in this situation where she was swimming under the men's college swim team. Okay, it's not even like she was in high school and right before she went to college, she transitioned to become a woman and she went into the women's team. No, it's not even that, which I think that is even bad. But this, to allow somebody who is competing collegiately at the NCAA men's level to just switch over to the women's for their senior season is insane. And not only did they do that, they turned this into a freaking spectacle. Look at this next one. Transgender swimmer, if it'll, oh, it's not even going to let me do it. Oh, that's so stupid. See if I can get this extended. There we go. Look at this, guys. Transgender swimmer Leah Thomas. Stupid ads, I swear. Transgender swimmer Leah Thomas nominated, if I can get this to go over, nominated 2022 Women of the Year Award. Guys, how are we doing? It's almost like it's a slap in the face to all women. Do we not care about women anymore? It's so weird. I mean, we've been fighting for women's rights, and I'm all for women having the equal rights under the law. You should not be discriminated upon if you're a woman or a man or if you're transgender. It really doesn't matter. You should not be discriminated against just based on that at all. But we have to protect women. There just needs to be another category for the transgender category at this rate, because we're just taking away too many opportunities and accolades from actual women who never knew that they were going to have to compete against biological males in order to compete in their sport and actually do well in their sport. And this isn't the only thing that's happened so far. I mean, we can go over here too, to the New York Post. Controversial, if it'll scroll up. Man, I'm really hating these ads, guys. But either way, I'm trying to get this down here, but it won't let me. So yeah, we're going to stop with the New York Post on that one because that's just irritating. But here, I'll just go to here on the Google here. The Google search. Transcyclist Austin Phillips wins North Carolina race by 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I know I'm not a cyclist, but I know times if you're beating somebody, and this is a professional event. 5 minutes is, come on, guys. If you can't admit that this is there's obviously a biological difference between this Austin Phillips person and Leah Thomas and the rest of the field that they're competing against, then honestly you probably don't know sports, but you don't even need to know sports to realize there's a difference between men and women. There's a biological difference. There's a muscle difference, a bone density difference. So, I mean, guys, we gotta be aware of this. We gotta see this. We gotta see what they're doing. It's really a slap in the face for women. And I have too much respect for women to not make this episode. I think it's important that we stand up and show women that we are here on their side for this. And I'm sorry, but transgender women, they're not, and I'm not saying this in a mean way, guys, okay? It's just factual. They are not real women. They are trans women. And I don't understand why that's a problem. Like, why is that something that we can't say? We should be able to say that because it's the truth. It doesn't mean that you can't go around and use your she her pronouns if you want, right? And honestly, I feel like you'd have a lot more people that would be in the avenue of being willing to say whatever pronouns you want to go by, as long as you're willing to say, yes, I'm not a real woman, I'm a trans woman. If you do that, we should all be on the same page, and we should be able to we should really be able to come to an agreement. We on both sides of the aisle. We should be like, okay, great. I appreciate you acknowledging that you are a trans woman and you want to go by she her pronouns. Great. I have no problem doing that personally. You know what I mean? That would actually make me more willing to do that. So we just got to have more context when it comes to this, guys. It's not about hate. It's not about hating any type of group. It's just about making sure that we protect women's rights and that we don't muddy the waters too much when it comes to definitions of words. Because I feel like that's been going on a lot lately in a lot of different sectors across not just the United States, but the world. So I hope you guys like the topic today. Click the like button if you liked everything. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Again, for everybody that has subscribed, I really appreciate you guys. I hope you have a blessed day. Have a great weekend coming up. I'm going to put out an episode on Saturday tomorrow. And actually from now on, I just was thinking about this. All my Saturday episodes, I'm going to be doing a sports episode. And it's just going to be about just all the news in sports for the week. So I'm going to keep it light. I'm going to keep it nice when it comes to sports on Saturdays. And we're just going to keep doing it like that. We're going to keep trying to grow this channel and keep making it the best we can, guys. So Have a great day. Like I said, have a great weekend, and I'll see you on the next video.